Hi. So, um, right. So some guy, they wanted to VC with me, and yeah, I guess we're VCing. But yeah, no, I just thought it'd be historic to have someone in VC. But yeah, someone was challenging me to VC, so I guess we can VC with them now. All right, it's starting. Hi.
Hello there.
Hello. So are you the person who's been trying to VC? Reach out and VC?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I've been dying to get a word in with you.
Ah, that's lovely. So what's up?
So, my biggest thing, I guess, and first thing I want to talk about is the
Yeah.
sequel situation.
Oh, okay.
Um, I'm gonna be completely frank. Oh man. So I've been watching you for a little bit, and I'm not gonna be, out here saying I haven't, because I mean, obviously, it seems like a lot of the CCs have been seeing quite a bit of your perusing and the stuff that you've been doing. And I can like forgive all of that and
Right.
like forget a lot of that.
Right.
But I'm gonna be completely honest. What
Right.
you did to sequel
Mm-hmm.
was anything short but being fucked up.
Okay.
So I would like for you to
Mm-hmm.
tell me
Right.
that, like, when you're coming into an interview and you're acting from an interview journalist standpoint,
Right.
why did you not take the research, like for 2 seconds, to go look at their TikTok and to see that they had been posting about their disorder
Right.
for over 2 years?
Right.
And then you felt like it was a need to question
Right.
what you were saying. Like, I don't feel like anybody was out here asking for you to come and investigate somebody who has a disorder
Right.
that is,
Right.
fully something that is a possibility for somebody to have. And for you to question it does 100% invalidate that person
Right.
and cause them to have issues.
Right.
So, what I want to hear from you
Right.
is, what exactly was the premise of your interview if it wasn't just for rage baiting?
Right. Um, just to basically sum it up, I already researched their account. When I want to have grounds in trying to expose someone or whatever, I do a full, lengthy, extensive research on everything. And so I also looked up and searched up and read through multiple articles about DID. So I was very well prepared for any sort of, how do I say this, retort. So I went over to them, not just to simply say that they're invalid, but to basically question them to see how authentic they are. But going back at the conversation, and I skimmed through it to see if I had any grounds to make a video talking about their DID, I realized that they never revealed anything that was important or that had any similarities of someone faking it. And it was also very difficult to fake DID, it will detect a faking DID because DID is almost like a spectrum. It's incredibly hard to find and understand if one is real or one is not. Again, it's an extensive study, but at the same time, not anyone who has a long traumatic experience in childhood develops DID. It's incredibly rare. 1% only has it in the will, and in that 1%, 8 to 14% of them are actually fake or misdiagnosed. And amongst them as well, doctors also acknowledge the fact that DID is very much a fakeable or very convincible disorder that people can convince themselves of having, but they actually don't. And not only that, the next thing is DID is pretty much incredibly hard to diagnose. You would need, on average, and yes, this is average, but statistically speaking, you have to be, if you are a female, you have to be 30 years into your life for them to actually accurately diagnose you, and they have to extensively follow your history and extensively talk with you every night and day. So hearing that a 16-year-old who has the ID a very rare condition and is diagnosed professionally at a very early age, which is also very rare. It's like a smaller percentage in that small percentage. So that gave me enough statistical and logical understanding that this TikTok DID person who might just be sharing awareness, but that's also how many fakers who got exposed did. They also just shared awareness, and some of them might have acted up a little too much, but some were just simply sharing awareness, and then they were exposed when people looked at their forged or fake medical declarations. I don't ask that from sequel C. I just wanted to know how they would behave or react to certain questions. They reacted almost indifferently from what I experienced or what I expected, so I couldn't have any case against them. So if your question is why I approached them the way I did, it's because I wanted to expose a potential person who faked the ID. Anything else?
Yeah. Who asked you?
No need. No one need to. It's my own investigation. It's investigation. I just want to see if this person is faking it or not.
That's not a valid point to
How
go
is it?
out and start invalidating somebody for
I
having a
was not
disorder. So,
invalidating them.
so I'm going to give you a little key point in here because I get what you're saying with your statistics and whatnot,
Right.
which that's cool that you went and did your research about the disorder. However,
Right.
I'd like to bring in a key point when it comes to women specifically.
Right.
Women develop later in their lives.
Right.
However, from what I understand, Sequel is not a woman. So that doesn't really apply to this.
Sorry, it crashed out. What?
It said that when it comes to your research about specifically in women, that they don't get diagnosed later until they're about 30. I'm gonna give you a little bit of education on that. So when it comes to females, their brain and their body does develop a lot quicker, but however, they tend to hide a lot more mental disabilities until they are older because it is
That
hard to
is-
get diagnosed.
That is actually inaccurate. Males, human males are actually the ones who are the most difficult to diagnose because they actually statistically have the highest rate of hiding their disorders and their mental disabilities or struggles. That is
Not when they're kids. Not when they're kids.
no, we're not talking about kids. We're talking about grown men and grown women trying to get
Sequel
diagnosed
is not
with
an
DID.
adult.
Yeah, and that's why.
Sequel is not an adult.
That's why
That's
it's
what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, that's why it's statistically impossible for someone this young to be so willingly opening about a DID situation or whatever and get it diagnosed that fast at the very early
I
age.
feel like you're not getting what I'm saying.
Okay,
What
clarify.
I'm trying to get you to understand
Yeah.
is that from my own point of view, because I have worked in the medical field and I also have had family working in the medical field for a very long time, specifically with folks with disabilities. Okay.
Right.
So I'm going to tell you this.
Right.
When it comes to young men, when
Right.
they are growing up, they have a tendency to lash out more and be more emotional when they are younger. Now, I can get where you're saying when it comes to the development portion of that. Men do not develop fully until they're 21 to 25. That is why we have such an issue with mental health when it comes to men, both men and women.
Mm-hmm.
But all I can say when it comes to the man side of it is that they take longer to develop, but they also tend to lash out more as children because they cannot regulate their emotions.
Right. And what was your point again relating to sequel?
Because you were bringing up a statistic about women, but from what I understand, Sequel is a guy.
Okay, so I'm not sure if it's their gender or whatnot. If because from what I heard, sequel is a she, and it's a trans. So and I'm talking about this medically. I'm not trying to be transphobic. If they prefer their pronouns to be he, them, then sure. But
Well, absolutely.
we're talking about medically wise. If they are genuinely a biological female, that still aligns with the statistics. We're not trying to bring in gender pronouns and whatnot in a medical field, which I'm sure you know that gender pronoun identities has nothing to do with the
They are
biological
separate.
sex. Yeah.
And I completely agree. I
Yeah.
know exactly what you're saying.
So
I agree with that. However, my biggest takeaway from this entire thing
Right.
is that you did not conduct your interview with much grace. Like I guess what's the word for it? You I mean, even in the videos, like, I mean, you say that you do your research and you go through all these key points and you're making valid points, but I'm not gonna lie. It's not just from me seeing it, it's from multiple standpoints of seeing it that uh you kind of ramble when you're talking.
Yeah, I acknowledge that, but when I come to the point of actually talking to the point, I do make sure all the points are coming across as clearly as possible. Yes, I do ramble, and sometimes I add on to things unnecessarily, but I still go to the point, and I still have evidence and whatnot that are short to the point.
I mean, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt because I also did hear that English is not your first language, so I
Mhm.
was told to be patient,
It,
which
it
that's, you know,
it is
that's fine.
it is fair, but at the same time, even though English is not my first language, I somehow am able to articulate better than most of the crybabies that are CCs. Not sequel C, but like other CCs.
Well, and I'm not even here for majority of that either. I'm just here on the defensive of
Sequel
how
C.
come you thought that that was a good idea?
Eh,
Because you
well,
really pissed a lot of people off,
and
including myself and my own team.
that's fine. I do not care for what you guys feel, but I do, and again, I'm not apologetic to any of you guys who hate me, like whatever. But I do feel sorry for Sequel C, even though I still stand on my point that I am skeptical about their DID and whatnot.
But
Nonetheless, I still feel
my
bad
whole issue is why is it your fucking business in the first place?
because they're a public
That's my
figure. Because
issue.
they're a public figure talking about DID publicly and saying that they have it, and I don't want people to be
For two
misled.
years. For
Yes,
2 years, and you could have made that a point.
the DID person who faked it and got exposed was doing it for 8 years. What's your point?
Who the heck are you even talking about?
They scratched up all the DID requirement lists. They were above 30, they were diagnosed, and they had doctors and whatnot. But apparently, they weren't going through DID. That was a TikToker. You can look it up. I forgot his name or her name, but you can look it up. They faked DID and they scratch up all the statistics, but unfortunately, their documentation declaration was forged. And things like that happen. Why can't I assume that this person who's been doing this for 2 years and is statistically impossible to have the ID is having the ID? And again, I'm doing
Because
this.
it's not causing you any
No,
problems.
it's not, but it's also misleading. It's a content creator. They're an influencer, and they're influencing people. And it's also I'm worried that they might also convince other people that they have the ID.
That's not even what?
It happens.
You're really pulling on some strings here, Frown. That is just some just fucking outworldly shit that you're
You
just
know the
saying.
French word that says two idiots or something like that. And in my language, there's a saying also like when
You're
someone barks.
French?
No, when someone barks. In my language, there's a saying that says when someone barks, a person who have heard that barking for so long will also begin to bark. So basically, what it's saying is that influence comes in many ways. And if I tell you that, hey, you have this, you have this, you have this, or hey, you have something that is similar to this for a long period of time, you will get convinced to the point where you genuinely think you do have this when you really don't. That
I
type
can
of influence.
understand where your point is when it comes for, you know, the influence
Yeah,
on kids.
yeah.
I can get that. However, again, my point still stands is that there was no reason for you to go out of your way to
Because
make the
they're an
video.
influencer, and I had to make sure the
No,
kids are
no,
safe.
that does not give you a reason to invalidate somebody's disorder.
I
It
did
does
not
not.
invalidate them. I talked to them, and they basically said it is true, and they
You were
unfriended me, and that's it.
questioning them like they were some kind of freaking criminal. What are you on about?
I was questioning them in the way I did, and just because you have a difference to it doesn't mean that it is necessarily bad.
Or repeat yourself?
Just
I
because
didn't hear that.
I just because I have a different way of questioning someone doesn't mean that your opinion, you know, should be facts about it.
Oh, well, it's not that my opinions are facts about it. I just think that it was bullshit from the beginning because in all fairness, yeah, they had their disability out on display for everybody, but their whole premise for their channel was for them to spread awareness because of it being so rare. Which I can understand your skepticism, but again, where's the point of you, like, what is your point? What is the point of doing it? Because, like, I get that you're saying that other people have had this disorder before and that they've lied about it and yada yada yada, but I'm gonna be completely frank. I don't see any of that coming from sequel. I have not seen anybody come out and ask or say anything about them having a fake disorder. And I mean, unless you want to show me some screenshots of this, but I also haven't been seeing what you're saying about them having any influence on somebody and making them think that they have that disorder. Because, I mean, yeah, kids are impressionable. They can, they can make stuff up. It happens. However, there's also adults that can totally take care of themselves and don't need somebody like you to
Yeah,
come
and I'm
in
not
and
looking
do
out
that.
for adults like you guys. You guys can, roll a pin or whatever and do your daily life things. I'm looking after for the kids. I'm not looking after for the adults who are going around in creature scenario. I'm looking after the
Oh, that's
kids.
a good way to twist the words. That's hilarious, brother.
I'm being straightforward with you. I'm being simple and I'm being logical with you. I'm telling you,
Well,
I'm not looking after the adults of the COS. You guys, you guys are honestly very weird, so I'm not looking out for you guys. I'm looking out for the children who are impressionable, young, and influenceable. And 16-year-old is a
holy
kid.
crap, that's amazing. You're saying you're
16 year
looking out
old
for the kids that are
16
impressionable,
year
yet you're
olds
sitting here
are
and
young.
bullshit talking people? That is some fucking entertainment if I have ever heard it. That is so funny.
And
Like,
here you
actually,
are bringing your feelings into the conversation. How disruptive.
how
Now, going
disruptive,
back to
brother.
the topic, let's
I'm
not
out
try
here
and
to
have
protect the kids as
emotions.
well, and my biggest issue is that
Let's
you're
not have
harassing a
emotions
child.
in. Let's not have emotions
My
into the
biggest
topic.
issue
Let's not have
is you are
emotions into the
harassing a
topic.
child.
I'm gonna say it to you calmly, and I'm gonna say it to you clearly. I did not harass them. I talked to them once, and they unfriended me,
You
and that was
mocked
it.
an interview to harass them. How is that not harassment?
I
And I'm not here
mocked
to
her.
get into my feels, but I'm going to be completely honest. I've been a part of this community for so long, and if you want to sit here and call me weird, oh, that's totally fine. But I've met people like you before. I'm not afraid of this stuff. I
Who's
really am
asking
not.
for you to be afraid
But
of anything?
all I'm going to tell you right... Oh, boy.
Nobody's asking for you to be afraid of anything. You can just talk to me. Like, why are you people constantly bringing up, oh, you're afraid, oh, you scared? Like, nobody cares if you're scared or not. I
Because
never
your
asked.
initial comeback to me when we were coming in to have an initial conversation was you wanted to add another person into it.
Yes, because I want
And
them to listen.
yeah, well, they can listen afterwards. But my big thing here is that I was trying to sit here and have a one-on-one conversation with you, make you understand that
Make
what
me
you were doing.
understand.
No.
Wait, let me
Make
read out
you.
your comment. Let me find it real quick. This is
Oh,
your
go for
comment,
it.
right?
Go for it.
This is your very articulated comment that wants me to have a civil conversation with you. You said, "Hey there, still haven't received anything from you about the voice chat invitation, friend. I feel like you're too afraid for it unless you want to entertain a CC who can give you a taste of your own medicine." Now that really sounds like a very articulated speech where someone is genuinely trying to have an open-minded civil
I am
conversation.
100%. Our conversation was great up until the
And
point that you're just not getting.
And next point, I asked about where and when did you send the invitation, and you replied to me saying, "I mean, give me that Discord, homie, because I would love a few words with you." That is a very articulated thing to say to a person when you want to have a
Oh,
civil communication.
absolutely. And you
And
know
also,
what? You can sit there and talk about the comments that I made to you,
right,
but that's still not going to take away from
right.
every single account of bullshit that you have caused.
And what did I
And
cause?
your whole premise of your channel, and you even said it yourself, is you're a drama channel. So I hope that I'm feeding you content right now because, I mean, it's going to be great.
Oh, you
It's going to
are,
be
but I'm not
great.
gonna make a video about you because it's kind of boring. But I am streaming, so
Oh.
that's fun.
I hope. Oh, hi guys. I
Yeah.
got myself on recording as well, but like I said, your points invalid. They're just straight up invalid.
How is it
and
invalid? Explain to me why it's
what?
invalid. What's invalid about my point?
Your point is invalid because
Why is
you
it
went
invalid?
out and asked somebody about their disability. How can you not understand
And they could have
that
denied
you're
it, and they
being
could have accepted it.
ableist?
How is it ableist that I want
They
to make sure
don't need
people's not
to
faking a
accept that
disorder?
their diagnosis was a fake
They
if
don't
they've
need
actually
to.
been diagnosed.
Yeah, that's
It's
great.
not your
No,
place.
okay, which part do you not understand of my interview? And you're bringing in too many emotions and feelings into it. Calm the fuck down. This is not even about you. Fuck. The
It's about the
self-insert is
community.
crazy.
It's
But
about the community that I have been with for a very long time. I am passionate about it because these are people that I've been, looking
so
after and watching for a long time. Not
so
necessarily sequel and not anybody else that maybe you had been talking about, but I know the community of COS, yeah, they can be emotional, and I myself can be emotional about
I might.
them and the community.
Right.
And it's because I care about them. I
Yes.
care about the people that are about this community.
Unfortunately.
And all I can say to you, Sequel, is you just post bullshit on the internet. You
Mm-hmm.
don't have any valid points.
Uh,
You continue to cause drama. I am only here on the preface of I sent the invite to VC with you
right. And I still
because
don't know what
I
that
was done
is.
with it. I'm tired of you constantly going out of your way
Right.
and doing this kind of shit.
Alright, so
So all I can say, as the premise of this, because I would like to end the
wait,
discussion
no,
right
no, no, no,
here.
no, no, don't.
Now
That would
I'm
mean
gonna
that would mean
I'm
you're
pretty
just
good.
escaping from a very constructive conversation. Now, firstly,
No, go
why
for it.
is my point invalid? Because whatever I've said are all statistically proven. You can look it up yourself. You can do your
Then no,
own.
give it to me. Then give me all the websites that you say that
Look, no,
are your
no,
research.
my research is so open in the space. You can literally search it up. I don't even need to show you the references. You can just search up what I said, and you will see it. That's how open the searches are. That's how open these websites are. You don't even need me to like
And
take you
then
there.
how can you sit there and say that they're 100% credible?
Because they're from WHO and all mental health organizations, credibility, all credited by the United States government or the
Then
European
send them
government.
on over, because if you don't have actual proof of this, then I mean your point again, invalid.
How is it invalid? I just said you all the facts. You can look it
You're
up.
not you said you I mean you're saying it,
You can look it
but
up.
you don't have anything to back yourself up. You're just saying it.
You can look it up. Okay, fine. I'll search it for you. Da, 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 da. All right, look up how many percentage of people have DID or whatever. And you can also look up how many people fake DID or have been misdiagnosed by DID. Seriously, you can look it up. These are very open sources. Do I really have to send you things from the internet when you have the internet too?
Bullshit, but I don't believe all that Google has to say. You know, if
No,
I
you
have to
don't
get a diagnosis, I go to a doctor.
okay, wait. So the the hypocrisy here is that you don't believe websites from genuinely artifact people who have years of medical training, but you believe a 16-year-old who's claiming they have DID. That is your logic? Seriously?
Is that what you're trying to like switch my words around
No,
to
that's
say?
what you said. You said
Because
you
no,
don't
that's
trust
not what I
Google.
said. I don't trust Google
Yeah.
websites right off the bat unless I know that it is a medical, like an actual medical
Then look it
professional.
up. Then look it up. You can just look up their names. Their articles are written and they
That's
say by
cool
who.
and all, but there's the whole reason why that there's a study out for this is because of the issues of the diagnosis of it. And
What?
oh my gosh, you're not even.
No,
You're continuing to.
I just
Okay.
don't understand because you're telling me
My
here that you don't.
issue, like I said to you,
Yeah.
was the fact that you thought that it was a good idea to go out of your way to talk to somebody about their disability.
No, we're not.
Which, no. You came to them
Right.
as an interview standpoint,
Yeah.
which that's fine.
Yeah.
But the way you conducted yourself in that interview, being really skeptical and just completely invalidating what they were talking about, was just rude. I'm just here to say that. That was my whole thing, was that I am tired of you going out of your way to constantly be like this to people, goat them into interviews, just want them to rage bait. And yeah, I mean, yeah, you can sit here and say that technically you're rage baiting me, which, I mean, guess it's working.
I didn't
I
even
guess
do
it's
it.
working.
You're the one who started this. You're the one who sent the invitation. So, you know,
No, but it's working for everybody. I
well,
tell you
it's
that.
working for. No, yeah, I guess, but then you still started the rage bait. Like, okay, let me just conclude what you have said so far. You said my points were invalid, and even though I've said all to you facts that can be easily looked up, even though I've stated all of that
You
and
can
all of
state
these
all the
things,
facts you fucking want. What I'm trying to get at is that you went out of your way to try to interview
no, no,
somebody,
no,
but
you
then you
said it's
just made them to
invalid.
seem like they were just some kind of, liar.
You said I'm
That's
invalid. Which part of it is invalid? Is it that point? That specifically that point?
that is invalid.
So,
Yes,
okay,
you
so
thinking that you're okay to do all that is invalid. I'm
okay,
not saying any of the research is invalid unless, it specifically is stating from not a website that is not a medical professional, which I can, agree that there is some statistics here, but that's the thing is, statistics change. Things can change, but all I can say is that you going out of your way to do that was my whole premise of being
okay,
here.
so that point is invalid, not the facts, not the anything. That specific point that I went to C and interview them, that point of me is invalid. Like the way I demonstrated it, the way I
The way
called
you
them out.
executed it was
Yeah.
not okay.
Okay, so that is invalid, right? That's what you want to say.
I guess if you want to put it as that.
Okay, so to everyone, yes, I do admit the way I did conduct it might have been a little, orthodox from other situations. But at the end of the day, I am talking to a person who is a 16-year-old, yes, a child, but nonetheless have a fully functioning brain that knows what the block and delete buttons are and when to not humor a conversation. I asked them simple things with my own tone of voice, which I don't see as a very bad thing. Yes, again, I do feel bad for you, sequel C, but I'm not feeling bad for the people who keep saying that, oh, like the way I texted was creepy or whatever. Like, you can look at it, you can read it in a tone that's creepy, and you can read it in a tone that's just skeptical or assertive. You can look at it in different ways. And because your opinion on my way of engaging this interview was bad, doesn't mean it's necessarily bad. You know, I looked at them and I questioned them in a sense where I'm worried that they might be influencing other people to have the ID, or they might be faking the ID or whatever. And I wanted to have the ground to try and expose them. When I realized I didn't have any ground, I did not expose them because I have nothing to expose. I went quiet about them, and that was a one-day conversation that lasted for a few minutes. That was it. Unfortunately, I keep hearing Sequel C talk shit about me viciously, continuously for many, many days after. And I've seen conversations.
I mean, for every right.
Yes.
For every right.
Well, see, that's the thing. Why is that if I approach someone and questioning this, if you are genuinely real and in having or suffering all of this, why do you have to feel the need to invalidate my claims? If you're valid, why can't you just move on with your life and just be valid, you know? You have the ID, great, you have the ID. Well, not great, but you know what I mean. You have the ID, you know that you have the ID. Why do you have to fact check a guy who just wants to make sure you do have the ID or not? And you don't have to like prove me anything. You don't have to show me documents or anything. You think you have it, or you believe that you have it, or you have been factually proven to have it. That's great. You know, you do you, I do me. That's what I thought. And so I moved on. I did other content, but they kept talking shit about me behind my back to multiple people. Again, I have nothing against Sequel C for doing that, but when they got a little too public about it, that's when I got annoyed and I wanted to research the ID again.
See, that's why I was like, just come into a VC and talk to me about it, because I mean, not gonna lie, I need to know the mindset of somebody who thinks that it's okay.
Well, yeah, it's okay for me to ask questions.
No, you're totally fine to ask questions,
Yeah.
but the way that you presented
but
yourself and the way that you held yourself in the
that
conversation
have to
just
do
was anything but a predatory interview.
that
That's what
has
that
to do
was.
with perception of it. If your perception is to see that as a predatory interview, then I
You're
have no way of
just
changing
throwing
it.
shit out here. You're just saying perception, opinion, bullshit, yada yada yada.
So,
Your whole thing
so if I'm
is that
explaining
you're
you
going
something,
to not.
if I'm explaining you something, it's bullshit. It's stupid words just being thrown around. But when you say it, I'm supposed to validate you.
Oh, I'm not saying to validate me or entertain me or anything. I
Well,
mean,
you
we're in
kind of
VC
did.
right now.
You kind
We're in
of
VC
begged
right
me to
now.
entertain you.
Oh yeah. Well, I was asking because I really would love to see a person like you, sit there and say all the shit that you're saying.
So it's
And yeah, you're doing it, and right now, and I mean, I don't see any remorse for it. So I mean, that just shows me that you're just not a good person.
I feel remorse for secrecy, not to you, or definitely not to
You
anyone
don't need to
else.
feel remorseful to me. I have nothing against you, and you have nothing against
Well,
me.
you sound like you have a lot against me. Let's not act like you don't have anything against me. You're very emotional, and you're basically contributing this
I
entire
mean, in the
conversation as if
sense
it's about you.
of physical, not
Physical, right?
physical, like
Right.
evidence. Yeah, I mean, you want to pull something out, go for it, bud.
Physical evidence as in what? Where did that come from? Hello? What do you mean physical
All right, give me 1
evidence?
second.
Yeah, take your time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm back. Having issues on my side.
Yeah.
I mean, and not gonna lie, I'm gonna go back to I think what you were saying earlier because I mean it was cutting out, but when it comes to the situation that we're having now, my
Right.
whole premise, like I had told you before, was I came in here on the basis to learn what mindset you had to just allow yourself to act the way that you did in that interview. That's all I was here for. And yeah, I mean, you're all right. I mean, I do have stuff against you, and that's why I'm here.
Yeah, so you just lied.
I mean, sure, if that's what you want to say.
Well, that's practically what you did. You said you had nothing
Yeah,
against me.
I'm refuting what I said and agreeing with you right now. Is that
So,
not what I'm doing?
so you lied. Let's just
No,
use basic words now. You lied that I had nothing
no,
against you.
it is nothing but a lie.
Okay.
I have
Right.
it is not surprising that somebody like you would be really good at manipulating and twisting words.
How is it manipulated? You said you had nothing against me. Now you're saying that you have something against me. So you lied to begin with. Where is the manipulation? You're just using your own words.
When I was saying against
Right.
me, I was saying physical, and that's when I got cut
Is
out.
physical?
Physically, evidence wise, you don't have anything against me. What I was trying to say was that I have.
So now you're talking about
I'm cutting out.
evidence? What? We're talking about having something against each other. We don't mean it like you have a lawsuit ready for me or not. We're talking about if you have something emotionally against me or not. And then suddenly you're shifting it to, oh, physically? Physical evidence? What?
I need to switch back. Hold on. I'm struggling over here. It's not.
I can tell. I can tell you are.
Because I'm getting myself confused because things are cutting out for me. I apologize.
Right. Right. Nice. Okay, so, all right, tell me when you're back. Okay, so I'm gonna mute myself real quick so I can just say this. For some reason, no matter what I say, and no matter how many words I use to explain myself, they're just they're seemingly continuously they're invalid, I guess, and they're bullshit. But when I explain to them that, the facts about my claims and whatnot, when they say that I don't know anything about the idea or whatever, um, Then they shift to that my approach was bad, and I say that the approach can be seen in different ways, that it's just perception. Suddenly it's bullshit. I huh? So whatever I say there, I'm always going to have a point where they have a thing that is against me, no matter what. So here, like you guys are hearing this live. This is the type of conversations I have with CCs and stuff, and they want me to respect them. And I'm not saying anything bad about this person specifically. I'm sure they're a good person, but I've had multiple conversations with multiple CCs in the past, and all of them are just so incredibly difficult to talk with.
All right. I think my connection
Oh, there we go.
issues they're still not resolving, but we're just gonna need to wrap this up.
Right, we're gonna wrap it up.
But that's where I came to you about, was just this whole issue, because I mean, my point, it still stands. I just don't think you're genuinely a good person. But I mean, hey, you know, you don't need to hear it from me. You don't need to give a fuck about what I have to say.
Mhm.
Seriously, you don't. And
Yeah.
even you taking time out of your day to entertain me, great. You know, I appreciate that regardless.
All right.
But
yeah.
when it comes to saying I guess the emotionally charged part, like I told you before, you know, this community, I've been defending it since day one. So, you know, I am on here to try to, you know, figure out what exactly, what and why, you know, what and why did this happen? Maybe, you know, technically it wouldn't be my place to come in and, you know, ask about it. But at the same time, you know, when I see something like that, it's a cause of concern.
Right. Well,
do you get where I come from when it comes to that?
Well, I do want to look. I want to be nice with you. I really did. I never wanted to mock you. I thought we would have like a civil conversation with each other, but you, for some reason, why was there a need to say I'm invalid? And why was there a need to just insult me, insult my intelligence, call my words bullshit when I'm using it to explain something? Why was there a need of any of these hostility to begin with? Like I was being very nice to you.
From the way you conduct yourself, my guy. I mean, there's not a way to get a word in edgewise when you're just yapping.
I listened to what you had to say, and I said my part. Sure, my parts might be a little longer, but why do you have to be so hostile about it? Like, I want to understand that part. No matter how much I am respectful to you, I was nice to you, I did not insult you when we met, I even complimented you for being patient, and no matter how much constructiveness I put into in all these effort, why do you have to be hostile with me to begin with? Why, right off the bat, you want to be hostile? Why?
I mean, the premise of me coming in here was the fact that you had invalidated somebody about their disability, and
I did not.
Yeah, you did.
How?
You did.
Tell me how. In what words I used.
Do I have to go back and explain myself again?
No,
it's
just
not
tell me
that
what
hard
word.
to go back and read your DMs.
Well, okay, so in the words I used, I never said directly that they faked anything. Yes, I did say questions like I'm worried that they might be someone who glorified DID, but I never said they glorified DID. I said I'm worried that they might have been. So how is me worrying and having my opinions well spoken out? And again, you can look at the text in Sequel C's video as well. How is that me invalidating someone?
I mean, I feel like, I mean, we're not reading the same conversation, because they were immediately like, here, I mean, I can pull it up myself. Give me 1 second.
Yeah. It'd be nice if you could read it out loud.
Oh, I don't need to do that.
Okay, then I will read it out loud.
Go for it.
Okay. Okay, so equals C. There we go. And oh shit, that scared me. All right. So I sent a friend request. They asked why I sent them a friend request, and I said, hey, just a blunt question: is your DID diagnosed by a medical professional? They said yes, and I said, I tried to confirm again, saying like an actual doctor in that field said that you do have DID, and they said someone professionally like diagnosed them, and I wanted to clarify again that yes, do you genuinely have it? I was trying to confirm with them multiple times. In no way did I say you do not have it or whatever. Yes, I threw in a joke saying like, cause that can be a random friend, online friend, or some Google search, and they said yes, they do. And I gave them my skepticism. I said it's difficult it's because usually people would be at their late 20s and whatnot. So it's very difficult for me to believe that this disorder could be in a 16-year-old diagnosed professionally. And they said, they basically said, they tried to retort to me saying doesn't mean all diagnosis though and whatnot. And I asked them why. Like, I'm just curious, because they got offended. And yes, I do understand sequel C's part, but at the same time, I was just conducting my interview in the way I do. And if anyone was like unhappy with it, there's a block, there's a unfriend, there's a report button, and everyone's free to use it. And I continued on saying my skepticism for diagnosis and statistics and whatnot, and they said they ain't in the mood to deal with my bullshit. And I said, my bullshit? I'm just making sure someone isn't faking DID. Surely it's not rude to make some counter. So I'm just telling them I'm worried, and I'm making sure someone's not having DID, and someone's faking DID, and that it's not rude to actually just challenge that idea. Because if you do have DID, wouldn't you be more obligated to try and explain to that person, or try and reason with them, or find a common ground with them, or try and agree to disagree at the very least, that you do have DID? You do not need to prove it to an online stranger, but you do have to try and sue them out in explanation where, like, yes, I do have DID. Yes, it's a rare case. I do acknowledge that, and I don't know what to say to you. This is just my case, and there, that's said and done. I can't prove otherwise, because statistic might say it's impossible, but it's not impossible. And so, yeah, and they said it's none of your business, and I just said, hey, it's incredibly rare, and I kept saying I'm not gatekeeping a mental disorder, and I said I'm just making sure this isn't some TikToker glorifying DID, and they said I'm not glorifying shit, what the fuck? And I replied to that saying I never said you were, and
But
yeah, that's about it.
My question is how can you not see the way that you were talking to them as, potentially coming off as being rude?
Yeah, but that is point of view, that is perspective. In my perspective, I was just asking a simple question they want to be answered. In their perception,
I mean, it seems like your perspective's a little warped, because anybody else who's seen it agrees that what you said and the way that you carried yourself was not okay, but go off.
Right. So for some reason, my perspective is less valid than you guys.
No, I'm not saying you're valid. Your perspective is less valid than ours. I'm just saying that you apparently don't understand that the words that you were saying and the way that you were speaking to somebody was just outright rude. Like, it's not that it's a question of whether or not a perspective. It's you were being rude.
And how was I being rude?
I really don't.
I challenged a person who has DID, and if they do indeed have DID, wouldn't they be fully equipped to retort back or counter my claims?
It doesn't matter if they are fully equipped or not. That is not your place to question.
Yeah, and they could have blocked me or whatever. I'm still going to have my freedom of speech.
Oh, cool. That's cool on you. But all I can say is like from what everybody else was saying, how you held yourself was wrong, and it's not a matter of perspective. It just was wrong.
Okay, so it's wrong because you say it's wrong? Oh.
No, it's wrong because it was predatory. Predatory in the sense of trying to get a reaction out of them.
Does that make sense? Interview works?
No.
No.
It's called doing your research.
And
you could have went to no.
No.
I'm saying doing your research as in doing your research on the person.
I did.
Not about their disorder. So doing more research on the person.
And how would I have done the research?
Looking through their socials, I mean, it's not that hard.
Looking, you want me to creep around this kid's social to fuck with it?
Okay. Okay. So you know what? I'm not gonna sit here and entertain somebody who's gonna twist around my
Twist around
words.
your words. You said look around their social. How is that gonna benefit me if I just look around their social?
You're saying that you're wanting me to creep on you for you to creep on some kid? That's no.
Then what
That
do you
is
want me to do?
no.
Okay, articulate what you want me to do. Say it in a fully sentence word so I cannot misunderstand it. Tell me clearly, day and night, what do you want me to do to research the
When
person?
you are interviewing somebody, it can
Right.
be anybody. When it
Yeah.
comes to a social platform,
Right.
you look at their socials. I am
Okay.
not saying to just creep on somebody. That's your words.
Right.
I'm
So,
saying to go out and do the proper research.
and what is the
However,
proper research? What's the proper research? You look at their socials, then what?
look at dates, see when, they've first been posting about, like, I mean, my whole premise to
I
that was that they posted about their disorder for a long time. And you were sitting here saying, oh, yeah, somebody else had been doing it for 8 years long and kept up alive for so long, yada, yada, yada. Well, all I can say is that it's case by case. People are different. I don't feel like you had any right in any shape, matter, or form to ask the questions that you did
Right.
as a quote unquote interview.
All right. I just want something constructive because, I want some criticism myself. So, how could I have performed my research? Because I did research them. I looked at their accounts and how long they have posted these things. And I realized that they've been doing it for a long time. But at the same time, yes, people are different, but also people are very similar. So, I looked at it and I found that, yes, it's a charming account, but at the same time, it could be a manipulative account. So, I didn't know the person behind the screen, and it could very much well be a person that's faking anything. So I challenged the idea, and yeah. So how could I have done my research differently? I did what you did, but at the same time, I have my own reason, which are very fair reasons. So what could I have done more to have prevented this?
To prevent it?
Yeah,
I mean,
like
generally, if you say that you did your research, I'll trust you on it. I'll trust you on it.
I just explained to
But
you everything, the reason why to trust me on it.
oh no, no, I trust you on it on that
Okay,
point. But what I'm trying. Hold on, I'm cutting out again.
okay. I just wanted to know how I could do the research when there's nothing to research about. I just wanted to know that.
As if you're saying that you did your research on, I'm sure. But what I was trying to say when it comes to conducting yourself in an interview, you're asking how you could, like, you're asking for criticism, because I can give you some. And if you say you did your research, I mean, I'm not you. I can't know that for 100%. But when it comes to conducting yourself in an interview, there was plenty of opportunities for you to not continue badgering them about the same question.
But we're talking about how could I have done the research better.
Well, like I said, going through their socials, trying to
And
see, information about
about
what they
what?
got.
Like what? Clarify.
Do you mean what? I
What
mean,
do you want me to look
you're
at?
coming to them about a DID diagnosis. All your
Yeah.
research was done online through websites, which yeah, you can say you validate yourself because it's from medical professionals. But my thing is in like, checking out their socials. And if you say you did that, sure, that's fine. But
Okay.
then your question, I mean, then there's no reason for the question, because if you say you did your research, then that's cool.
Yeah, and I have a fair reason to believe they might be faking it.
There's not a fair reason. There really
Like,
isn't.
how is it not a fair reason?
Because
Because
because why do you think that it's your place to question it? Because of the
so
research that you did?
so I can't question it. I can't question something now, cause like
No, you're allowed to question
yeah.
things, but when it comes to somebody's disability, I mean, you're tiptoeing over a line.
So I should be on eggshells when I talk about a disability.
Can you repeat yourself?
Am I supposed to walk on eggshells when I'm talking about disability?
You really should. Yes, you should, keep that, like, don't tiptoe that line.
Okay, so again, you're telling me how I could have done the interview, which is again a fair criticism, but I'll still stand by my point that it's just perception. But I'm asking you, how could I have done better with my research? Because it's not just you. Many of these other people are also telling me that I could have done it better in my research, that I haven't researched properly. Then what do I research? I research statistics, medical documents and whatnot, and they're telling me statistically this person is impossible to come by with how rare they are. And statistically, when I look at things and I also see that there are TikTokers who lie about these things and whatnot, and I try to also use that as a reason to engage with my conversation, how is that also not valid? No, I did what I did. I researched, I listened to them, I looked at them, I looked at all their posts and whatnot, and I wasn't convinced. So I questioned them, and they didn't want to humor me, and so they left. They didn't want to properly explain things to me. Again, it's their choice, and that's fine. That's fair that they unfriended me and stuff, and I had nothing against it. I didn't make it public. I never told anyone about it. I just left it as it is. And they got angry, and they started spewing about it publicly, and now it's in the public light. So, I kind of didn't start this thing with Sequel C. They rambled about it to people, and now it's public.
Well, I mean,
would
it doesn't surprise me with the amount of other people that have gotten mad.
Well, yeah, and what was the word that you used on me? Bullshit. That their anger against me is sometimes bullshit.
Say that one more time. You cut out.
Their anger against me is sometimes bullshit because of how some of the things they're angry with me about is just invalid.
I mean, if you can come back to that point, I mean, like, from what I don't. Okay, hold on 1 second. Repeat what you said because it came out all messed up.
Okay. So I understand Sequel C's part, but other CCs are also mad at me for various reasons. Mori, for example.
I'm not even mad about the Maurice situation. I'm gonna be quite frank.
Okay, so we have a mutual ground there.
Yeah, we have a mutual agreement when it comes to Maury. I am not. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Even in
Don't.
their latest video, I feel like they were kind of sheeping onto the onto the drama.
I've had my own experiences with Maury. Don't you worry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I agree with when it comes to that. Yeah. But like with the other stuff, I mean, my whole premise was the issue of seeing somebody who was potentially out there, you know, being ableist.
Yeah.
I guess is the word.
Well, I do want you to genuinely know me a little bit longer. I don't want this conversation to end and just you and I parting ways. I want us to genuinely be a little bit friends for a little bit. Just humor me. I just want to show you that like I don't want to say that I'm not able to this and whatnot. I want to like show you the way I talk with people, the way I handle with people. I'm gonna add you into my Discord server, and I just want you to just enjoy and just experience me as a person first before you say I'm ableist for one experience you don't even have first hand experience of, you know? So can you humor me on that?
I'm more than happy to humor you.
Right. So I'm going to I'm not trying to
I will say I'm a person who is okay with, you know, like I guess how to phrase it. I am okay with looking at things from different lights and perspectives and standpoints. And I'm also okay with the option of, you know, taking a look at how you hold yourself around other people.
Okay, and so next time, let's just say if you're talking to someone that's not me or someone else about these things, next time I would strongly suggest that you don't say that they're invalid and that you don't say that their words are bullshit.
Oh, well, it is true. No, it is bullshit. Everything that you said was. No, it's true. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that it wasn't. But it's more so the fact of whether or not you want to take that with a grain of salt. That's fine. It's just my opinion at the end of the day.
That's fair. And I could say the same for that, but apparently people get angry for it and that I should be burned at the stakes. The bias is crazy. But yeah. That being said, let's just be friends a little bit. Let's try and understand each other. But that's about it. We agree to disagree.
Well, that's how it be.
Yeah, that's good. See how good it is if we just de-escalate a situation and not like please also just how do you even interact with people? My friend, you came to me like I'm scared of you and whatnot, and using words like homie and stuff. Like, please, next time let's just have a normal conversation with a cup of Joe or a cup of Lily, okay? Just let's calm down.
Oh, I carry myself way different, but when it comes to people that I think that are an issue,
Right.
nah, no holds bar. I am not somebody who is nice about it. So,
And this entire time, this entire conversation, you have yet to tell me one thing that is disproving my claims, one thing that has yet to factually put me in place. All you have said is just perspective and opinions on matters and such, which again, if
I mean,
it's
there's no
just
perspective or claims. I mean, there's proof in the pudding through the chats. I mean, like, I don't need to sit here and tell you that you're doing wrong because, I mean, like I said, you entertained the idea of having me come in here because I directly challenged you outright, VC, let's go.
yeah,
Because I'm not somebody who's going to sit there and watch that happen from the sidelines. Like, you can say that me saying that your points are invalid was just because I don't like the way that you hold yourself and yada, yada, yada. But
right,
it's not just me. It's not just me. It's not just me seeing it. There's a lot of people seeing it. And
right.
I'm just out here sitting here and saying because I'm not somebody who will
Most of them
just
being TikTokers.
look at shit
Yeah,
and not say something about it.
right. And you really did say things about it. You really did. Just unfortunately not things that I found challenging. So, at the very least, we had a somewhat constructive conversation. Um, but yeah, that's about it. We agree to disagree. We good?
Sorry, cutting out one more time. Hold on.
Oh, it's okay. Are we good?
Okay. I think we're good.
All right, we agree to disagree. That's it.
I mean, if that's what you want to call it. But alas, I'll let you continue on with your stream and whatnot.
Yeah.
You have a good rest of your day.
All right, you as well. All right, folks. What do you think? It wasn't as constructive or as challenging as I expected, because you would expect something dire from a person who outright says, "I challenge you." Like one of those like trainers in Pokemon games where you just can't avoid them. Like as soon as you're in the line of sight, it's like, "I challenge you, Red, for Poke Battle," stuff like that. But yeah, it was fun. It was fun. Not much, but it was entertaining nonetheless. So yeah, what do you guys think? Uh, yeah. But yeah, that's about it. I have nothing to say. Well, I'm gonna end the stream. I gotta go. You guys have a great, fantastic day. I love you guys. Yeah. I just hope that people, and I just hope people could be less biased nowadays. But yeah, that's about it. I want to know your thoughts, honestly. Psydog, Arrows, Proxy, even Pepper Rolly, honestly. I want to know your thoughts. Just tell me in DMs or write it down in the comments. I genuinely want to know your thoughts. Even Stars here, hi. But yeah, take care. Yeah, bye bye. Have fun. Good morning, good afternoon.